I think what's so amazing about what Max did with her book is she really took a very dark time in her life where she was suffering with crippling anxiety and all of these things and turned it around and tried to help people.
Well, Heather, it's so good to see you as always. And I'm so excited to chat with you because you are back on the Real Housewives of Orange County. I watched the first episode and I'm so excited.
That is so good. I haven't watched it yet.
It's good. It's real good.
I don't know if I'm saving it because I want to savor it or I'm saving it because I'm terrified. I haven't decided.
Well, you have, at least judging by the first episode, you have nothing to be terrified about.
Okay, good. Very good.
So, I'm sure you got this question so much, but why was now the perfect time to come back? And was there a lot of convincing?
It's actually the best question because why would you? But truthfully, I think a lot of it stems from my daughter, Max. I think that when she came out as bisexual a few years ago and the flood of, support and comments and all of that in the conversations we've been having, on my podcast and just in our family over the last few years has really been, how can we reach more families? How can we, show our version of a normal functioning family and maybe help some more people? And so when they came back to me to ask if I'd come back to the show, I laughed. And then, then I thought about it and we talked about it as a family. And honestly, it seemed like an interesting opportunity to do just that.
Yeah. Was Terry excited to get back onto Housewives?
No, not at all. I'm sure he's still not. I think, when I first talked to Andy Cohen about coming back, I said, when I first made the decision, I should say, I said, I'm excited. And he goes, yeah, it's exciting. He goes, and it'll be annoying. And he gave like 7 other adjectives, which I thought were so funny. And it's true. And it's all of that. And it's not an easy show to do. It's very difficult. I'm much happier when someone hands me a script and, turns on the lights and does the hair and makeup and you're not accountable for everything that comes out of your mouth.
Were you happy with, now that the filming is done, are you happy with the decision that you made?
I would say this. I think there was so much good in the season. First of all, it's a fantastic season.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. It delivers. It has all of the drama, amazing personal stories. It's a very transitional season, I would say, which is what everyone was looking for and definitely brings back that inspirational, aspirational lifestyle that I think people were wanting. And, definitely investing in some new people and reinvesting in some other people, that they haven't been invested in a while. I think all of that is really, really good.
Yeah.
Am I glad I did it? I think that from a personal story and from my family, I think we told some very compelling stories that I hope resonate with other families and other parents out there. And from a personal standpoint, I made some new friends and reacquainted with some old ones. And it's a journey. I don't know. Maybe ask me again after the reunion.
I will. I mean, you made a good point that this is definitely a transitional season because, Andy said before you even joined the show that, this season needed to be recasted and rebooted. I mean, did you agree with the decision in letting Kelly, Braunwyn, and Elizabeth go? And would you have done the show if Kelly was still around?
I didn't watch the show when I left. I didn't watch it before I came, and I didn't watch it when I left. I mean, partially because you have FOMO, right? When you're not doing something anymore, you don't really want to see it. And partially, it's kind of like you move on, right? So you don't go watch your sorority Twitter feed once you graduate college. You kind of go to the next step. So, I don't know all the people that were on the show that came and went and all of that. So I can't really respond to the casting of it, but clearly a change needed to be made. And I think they did a really great job. And as far as who I would or would not be on the show with, look, the timing of things is always very interesting. If you had asked me 2 years ago if I'd come back to the show, it probably would have been a different answer. So let's just say that the universe said it was time.
Yes, it was time. And you did say, obviously, this is going to focus a lot about your family this season too.
Yeah.
And I know that Max just released a book as well. So congratulations. It's so exciting.
Thank you.
That's very awesome. Exciting. Very exciting. I mean, obviously she's giving advice to parents and how to, have these tough conversations with their kids. I mean, what do you wish that you knew when you and Max had the conversation that she was coming out as bisexual?
Oh, well, that one for me was very easy. I mean, we've always been very close and had a very communicative relationship. So it wasn't shocking to me. It wasn't, nothing. It was just totally normal and amazing. Mm-hmm. I think the other things that she writes in her book, there's definitely some mom fails in there. There's some wins too, but I wish I had her book 5 years ago. That would have been a lot easier. But parenting is definitely a process. I'm always very honest with my kids when I don't know something. I say, like, look, this is the first time I've ever had a 16-year-old or a 17 or whatever it is. I'm figuring this out too. And if I don't know the answer to something, I'm very clear with them about that. And we try to find out the answers together. I think what's so amazing about what Max did with her book is she really took a very dark time in her life where she was suffering with crippling anxiety and all of these things and turned it around and tried to help people. And I love that about her. Yeah,
I'm excited to see, how she opens up this season too, because I'm sure that this is definitely going to be something that you guys talk about.
Oh, 100%. I mean, you're going to see her working on her book and we do a big party for the release of it. And yeah, she talks about everything, her sexuality and social pressures and social media and the pressures of applying to college. I mean, my gosh, the things that these kids face these days is like, we just didn't have any of that. No. And when Max started her podcast, I'll give it to you straight-ish, I loved it because obviously following in the footsteps of mom a little bit. But what was so fascinating about it was we thought kids would be mostly listening to it, and it turns out it was adults. And then we were talking, and I said, what's so crazy is for the last couple of years on my show, when I interview people about what's going on with teenagers, about all of these subjects, the sexuality and anxiety and school pressures and all this, it's adults talking, and we're not really hearing from the teens. And she's really made herself that voice.
I love that. That's so great.